been for this 42 car. Right now he's 2 laps down back in 24.
And he didn't need this, Larry, because he's working trying to get himself back in chase contention and doing a good job the last 2 or 3 weeks, but this is going to hurt.
Yeah, he's now 3 laps down. Clint Bowyer now out ahead of Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin a respectful distance. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth's mirror is filling up with Jimmy Johnson, and that will be the battle for the lead.
Well,
it's not going to last long.
I think it was inevitable that the 48 car was going to run that 17 back down. As I mentioned, Matt Kenseth was 17, 20 more laps on his tires.
If I were Matt Kenseth, I'd be thanking my crew chief. He got me up front. He let me lead a few laps. Staying up here right now, I tell you, that's a great call on Todd's part, Todd Parrott.
On the top right of your screen, A.J. Allmendinger takes over 15th from Jeff Gordon. At the bottom, Jimmy Johnson takes the lead from Matt Kenseth. Meanwhile, I thought I saw some overheating from Montoya's car when he came to pit road. He has gone to the garage.
Yeah, he did have steam coming out of the overflow.
And Kurt Busch has been in the wall.
I think that 2 tires or no tire. Oh, we got a car. Jamie McMurray is smoking bad down the front straightaway. He's got a left rear tire down.
He was running in the 11th position with that 1 car.
He got a left rear tire down. I saw the car almost spun out with him.
Stay up, buddy. Stay up.
We're still green. Looks like all the cars will cycle past him, and he can get safely down to the pit. 2 more cars to go.
Come on down. Come on down.
Hold on.
Coming.
And they're okay. We stay green.
All the way to the bottom. Come on, come on, come on.
So within 4 laps, both of the Ganassi cars have a problem.
Larry, there's something else wrong with that 1 car.
I believe, Dick Berger, and it may be the track bar that holds that rear end in place at the back.
Well, what's happened apparently is that they've got a track bar problem on the number 42 Montoya's car. I looked at the tire on the left rear, the one that went flat, and you could clearly see that it had been worn through on the sidewall.
Well, this place is so hard on everything chassis-wise, and the track bar holds that rear end in place, and something broke them.
Steve?
Mike, Jamie McMurray just says the transmission is gone or an axle is broke, and he does not have enough power to get back to the garage.
But it would do that. If the track bar breaks, that rear end housing is swinging left to right, and it probably tore up the drive shaft or the transmission because it's so far out of line.
Contenders fall by the wayside as Jimmy Johnson has opened up 1.4 seconds on Matt Kenseth. With Kyle Busch 1.8 back. Jeff Burton 3 seconds off the lead, and Clint Bowyer 4.2 behind.
I mean, you couldn't orchestrate a better race for Jimmy Johnson. He's got a great long run car. We've had a lot of green flag racing. It's all working out perfectly for him.
Not so much for these fellows, because as Harvick and Kurt Busch battle side by side, here they all come. Logano, Truex, the 99 of Edwards all want to be part of this battle, and then Allmendinger fighting back toward the front.
And all those are lead lap cars that we're looking at right there. All 6 of those cars from Harvick in the 29, actually back to Stewart in the 14. He's still on the lead lap.
That's a pretty big parade of cars right there that are all racing for position right now.
And I just keep watching the lap times on that 43 car of A.J. Allmendinger. We're riding with our pole sitter now, Martin Truex Jr., the 56 back in the 11th. Allmendinger at one point was 2 laps down, and his lap times when he's not fighting traffic is not far off of what Jimmy Johnson in that 48's running.
133 laps to go. They were last in the pits at lap 246. Makes it a 2-stop race under perfect conditions. They'll have a chance to make it better. Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the Nascar Sprint Cup Series. As many of you are tuned in to see the race today on Fox or on NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile. Clint Bowyer with the fastest lap of the race, 151.9. He is our 5th place car. For more, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. And we have a new 2nd place car. Kyle Busch has passed Matt Kenseth and is now 2.6 seconds behind this man, Jimmy Johnson, who thoroughly dominated both races at Dover last year and is doing it again. We just saw Jamie McMurray go to the garage with what appeared to be a broken track bar, the rear end sliding laterally back and forth in the car. Jeff Hammond can show us more.
Yeah, Mike, underneath this race car, this is what you call the track bar. It literally holds the rear end, which is this yellow piece in front here, keeps it centered up, and that's where your two tires ride in between the body. What has happened, it looks like maybe this bracket on the left-hand side over here, because it's put such a load on it, has now broken away. What that allows the rear end to do is basically track itself back and forth with no kind of structure. So they're going to have to go to the garage area and make a replacement with that bracket and do the necessary welding, whatever, to be able to get this rear end housing back centered underneath the car to be able to continue.
And Jeff, as you're under there and you see over on that right side all that bracketry that holds the track bar on the right side, they run these track bars now so low that they've had to support all this because it puts so much leverage on that whole thing hanging down there. That's why they've had to support all that. It wouldn't surprise me if more of the trouble wasn't on that side.
Yeah, it could very well be on the frame side on the right side or the back of the trailer arm on the left side. It could be either one. A lot of load back there in these corners.
When it's that low, you know, you got all that leverage.
Carl Edwards at 10th place. Right behind him, the battle was resolved in favor of Martin Truex for 11th over Allmendinger, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart. They were 4 cars in a wad a lap or two ago. Now it's just a little wad. 2 cars.
Mini wad.
Mini wad.
Now, Kurt Busch in that 2 car, we think he's fighting 2 things. I think probably having 20 more laps on his tires than most of these guys that he's racing. Plus, we know that he slapped the wall about 10 or 15 laps ago. He and Matt Kenseth here at lap 282, somewhere around lap 300 to 310, they'll have to make scheduled green flag pit stops because they did not pit that last caution. There you see Kenseth in the 17 car battle for 3rd right now with Jeff Burton in the 31.
And this is right now, Larry, if you're fighting an ill-handling car, just like we see right there with Matt Kenseth, this is when it really gets to you. You have been up on the wheel the whole time, and it's hot out there today, and it really starts to wear on you physically and mentally.
Now Harvick is quicker than either of these 2, and you see him closing in as Boyer, as Clint Boyer, as Jeff Burton, Boyer's teammate, goes to work on the 17.
You won't see Matt. Matt doesn't put up much of a fight. He knows he's kind of a little bit at disadvantage here. When they get up on his bumper, he'll move down and let them go.
Now, while these guys are battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, our leader, Jimmy Johnson, in that 48 car, his lap times have really slowed down, but he's been catching the back of the field here, and these guys aren't just rolling over and letting him drive by, because a lot of them are trying to stay 1 lap down or 2 laps down.
Yeah, he's past Travis Quapple, now goes to work on Regan Smith, who's 2 laps down and about to be 3. And boy, Kurt Busch pounded the wall. And we have a caution. Turn 4.
That's got a right front down. I don't know if that was before or after.
And that's the 5th caution of the day.
Tire case.
Now he was a contender, was falling back, didn't make a stop with everybody else on that last. He did stop on that. No, he did not stop on that last caution.
Stop.
Excuse me.
But we do know he had hit the wall earlier.
Yeah, here he is coming off turn 2. Let's see what happens here. That's slightly. I wouldn't call that a much of a hit, but this one, you can see the rubber coming out from the car. That's a cut down right front. But Larry, I don't know. Staying out and not coming in getting tires with 20 more laps than everybody else may have bit him.
Because he looked like he had a good top 5, top 10 car since the drop of the green flag. This is crew chief Steve Addington. Pit road will be open. This will not get us to the end of the race by stopping here, but everybody should be on pit road.
It looked to me like all that damage was done by the flailing tire, not by the wall, so hopefully his alignment is still okay.
These cars are so resilient. Just think about Sam Hornish's car. He's been in the wall a couple times, spun out a couple times. He's still out there racing hard.
Dick Berggren.
Matt Kenseth assumed the lead on the last round of pit stops because he didn't pit. Earlier, he gained track position by taking 2 tires. This time, it will be a 4-tire stop, and they're going to try to tighten the car up a little bit. Krista?
Similar situation for Jeff Burton, a 4-tire stop, also making the track bar adjustment they did not make on the last stop. Steve?
Small chassis adjustment adjustment for Jimmy Johnson. Krista said the car's pretty good, stable, and turning well. Matt.
2 stops ago, a miscue on the pit stop. They went the wrong way with the wedge adjustment. They corrected that on the last stop. Kyle Busch said back on lap 2.